All right, listen, we're live on the air right now, blogtalkradio.com. This is the Brandon Watlington Show. Today I have a special guest, a brother who I've been checking him out, and I said, you know what, if he could ever bless me with being on the show, I feel like a portion of my life would be halfway doggone complete. And I have to say, man, he came on, he took out the time to actually be on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, please get up for the one and only Mr. Jose James. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, man, we're doing great over here. We're doing great, man. Listen, so tell me, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm in Massachusetts. I just moved up here. I just had a baby girl like 3 months ago. So my wife's family's up here. Thank you, man. And I left New York just because it's not really the best place to raise a kid. So I'm now commuting from all over the world, man. It's crazy. So I just got my guitar fixed, and I'm about to go do a 3-week tour. So this is my life right now, running around, making it happen, making music for people, man.
All right, man. Hey, listen, you sound like my pops. That's how I know you are a father. My pops said the same thing. He said, son, the reason why we moved from New York is because it's not a place to live. So I'm taking that that still holds true to today. by you saying
man.
that.
I mean, I'm always there anyway, so it's fine. You know what I mean? But when you have a kid, things change. You know, music changes, everything changes.
Right. So now that you have this, this little one here, has it changed the way that you look at the world and how you see music as a whole?
It has, man. You know, I mean, I think I haven't written like "Isn't She Lovely" or anything, but like just the way I think about how I want to use my music, and especially, I'm starting to think about working with young kids. That's something I haven't really put any thought into. I'm only really like 5 years into my career, so I haven't really thought about it. But it's definitely something I want to do now. I realize how important it is. When I see my little girl, I'm like, wow, she's gonna be, my age someday, and she's gonna, all the time that I can put in, teaching her about music and, her friends, it's going to be important because I start to remember all the things that I learned about music when I was a kid. So it just comes full circle.
It definitely does. It comes all the way full circle. Now, speaking about, life and just, and children, tell me a little bit about your childhood. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Minneapolis, and my father, also named Jose James, is from Panama City and plays saxophone and Latin percussion, congas and timbales and stuff like that. So between him and my mom's record collection, I definitely got like a solid education and a lot of good music, including jazz and funk and soul and folk music. And of course Prince, that's Prince City. So, I was a little kid.
I was getting ready to ask you that. I was like, being in Minneapolis, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, 80s babies, 80s kids, what influence did that have being in Minneapolis around that time that Prince was just like everything? What was that like?
It was just so exciting, man. I mean, to be somewhere, Midwest that, this is like way before Midwest hip hop or anything. Midwest was not really on the map for anything, and Prince put it on the map in such a solid way. And to be able to, everybody liked two people at that time, right? Michael Jackson and Prince, and to know that one came from your hometown was a big deal, man. I mean, that was exciting. My first LP on vinyl was Purple Rain. Let's just put it like that.
Right. So I'm guessing you decided to go with Prince on that one, in the battle of the two.
Yeah, I mean, Michael's bad, man, but Prince was right there. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah, Prince was definitely the man. Now, tell me a little bit. Now, you said obviously your dad was a musician, so obviously you had a heavy influence of that. And listening to your albums and to your records, I see and I hear so many different sounds. What were your early influences? Like, what was in your collection when you were growing up? Obviously, we already know Prince is obviously legitimately in there. So, what other ones did you have?
I mean, the Fat Boys, man, Biz Markie, you know, that earlier stuff, and then Tribe Called
Right.
Quest, Ice Cube, Public Enemy, De La, Beastie Boys, and then got into groups like Soundgarden and Nirvana,
Okay.
and 10,000 Maniacs. And then it was like, through like Diggable Planets and Ali Shaheed Muhammad, you know, they're sampling so much jazz. I started to listen to jazz music because I started to wonder how they found those samples. So then I started to, you know, learn about Miles Davis and Roy Ayers and people like that.
All right, Roy Ayers, man. That's the dude right there. Roy Ayers, man, puts out some classic songs, some classic albums. I mean, everything from his own stuff to Ramp. So I can agree with you on that piece. Now, I'll have to ask you something real quick because, you know, like I said, I've been listening to your music and listening to your albums. And, oh, by the way, if you guys are just now tuning in, we have Jose James here on the Brandon Watlington Show. Make sure to go cop his new EP, Come to My Door, okay, which is available now, correct?
Yes, it just came out. Remixes with some of the best, man, including Taylor McFerrin.
All right, like I said, go check that out. But listen to that, and then or hear snippets of that, and then also listen to some of your other stuff. I hear so many different influences, and all of them you already spoke about. But do you think it's a blessing or a curse, the fact that you can blend so many different sounds and put it into one? Because I listen to, you know, songs like Vanguard, which I'm telling you, I love that song. That's like my favorite. Listening to that one, and then listening to, you know, like the title song, Come to My Door, which, to be honest with you, is a great song, but I feel like if somebody decided to do a country cover of that, it would be a great country song. It sounds like it can go into all those different things. Is it a blessing or a curse, do you think, of having that much flexibility as an artist where people can say, I love him because he does so much, or, you know what, I want him to do just one particular thing?
Well, I would say it's a blessing and a challenge, you know what I mean? I think curse is too strong a word, but, you know, it's definitely easier, especially in the American marketplace, to do one thing well and be known for that, you know. So, for me personally, you know, it's a blessing because I love all that kind of music, and that's just what I want to do, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Just make good music. Just make good music.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, but like I said, yeah, Come to My Door. I love that song. And like I said, I've seen you do a lot of different shows. In Trouble, when I heard you perform Trouble, like I said, it just puts me in the mind of like Sly Stone. So I really have to say I give you a lot of credit, man, because you really can hit all areas and genres of music. And not a lot of people can do that. So I just want to just say that to you right now, since I have you here on the air right now. Much respect to you and to your craft, you know. So just want to give you that much. But out there performing on stage, since you've done this for quite a while, what has been the most electrifying moment that you had on stage?
I mean, probably my proudest moment on the stage was last year performing for Aretha Franklin at her 70th birthday party, man, in New York. That was pretty crazy. You know, definitely as a singer, you know, like, I don't think there's anyone else in the history of American music who's alive right now that has more of a say over what's real and what's not. And that was pretty terrifying, but electrifying at the same time. And she loved it, man. So, you know, now I just feel so blessed, you know, being able to share that space with her and, you know, share my music. So I don't think anything else is really going to ever top that in my life, to be honest.
That's the queen right there, man. That's the queen. Now, it sounds that you answered that question. You answered my other question. I was going to say, what's the most terrifying experience you've ever had on stage? But I guess performing in front of Aretha Franklin. Yeah, performing in front of Aretha Franklin would be kind of terrifying at the same time, because if you suck, she will tell you.
Exactly.
she will tell you like it T.I. is, okay? Now, like I said, there was, like I said, you know, checking you out and seeing all the things that you've done. Tell me about what brought about the decision to change labels, because obviously you're with Blue Note currently right now. What was the decision behind, you know what, let me go to Blue Note because Blue Note is A, B, and C?
Well, I mean, Blue Note to me is the best jazz label in the world, and one of the best music labels. You know, I looked around and saw all the great stuff that Robert Glasper was doing there, and I don't really consider it like a jazz label now. I think it has a great jazz catalog, but you know, since the days of Nora Jones, you know, they've been putting out. I mean, they got Anita Baker on the label. You know what I mean? So for me, it was kind of more who was feeling my new direction, because I'm not a pure jazz artist, you know. So really, they just heard the album, they loved it, and they didn't want to change anything. So to me, that was what I wanted to do as well, and they trusted me as an artist. And most of that is because of the new leadership with Don Wise as president. So it's just right time, right place, and it's been great so far.
All right, great. Now, obviously, I know on a lot of your work, especially your early work as well, it's well known that you did a lot of work with DJ Giles Peterson. How did you guys connect?
I met him in London. You know, he always keeps his ears to the ground about new singers and new developments in music, and you know, he's really responsible for breaking a lot of you know, really important acts like The Roots and Erykah Badu over in London. So, you know, he heard EP that I had made, and he was just putting together his new label, Brownswood, and so he got in touch with me. And pretty much just went from there, man. I mean, we went right into the new album, The Dreamer, which was my first full length, and he was really supportive. Kind of opened up a lot of doors for me, especially in Europe and Japan. So, you know, we're really close now, and you know, he helps me out with remixes and stuff like that, and you know, we keep in touch for sure.
All right, dig. Now, also talk about your music, and especially like, you know, the new stuff as well. You obviously you're a student of music, which I think is a great thing, because a lot of these artists now, they just study just stuff that's current. How do you feel that? How do you find that perfect blend of infusing the old with the new and still making it sound fresh? What is that? Is there a formula that you have saying, okay, we're gonna do about this half is gonna sound like A, B, and C, and then the rest is gonna sound like X, Y, and Z, or is it just like, you know, bam, and you just do it?
Well, on the No Beginning album, it was really the musicians, you know. The musicians keep it true, and musicians, you know, like you got Robert Glasper, you got Chris Days, you got Pino Palladino. You know, if you have people like that, and the people in my touring band, like Chris Bowers and Richard Spaden, like, they play with a lot of different people. You know, they play with Flying Lotus, they play with Maxwell. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just jazz. And Pino plays with everybody, you know, the Stones, the Who. So all those people want to make contemporary music. Like, nobody wants to make something that necessarily sounds old. But, you know, at the same time, we do respect, like, the past, and we do look for inspiration from, you know, Stevie and, like you said, Sly and Al Green and Marvin Gaye, you know, Roberta Flack. So, you know, I think it's just kind of like a respect thing, you know what I mean? You know, you wanna respect the music and try to go both ways. You know, I think that's what we did on this album. You know, it has a classic sound to it, but it doesn't necessarily sound like I'm trying to do 1957. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Like I said, I listened to it. It's got a great sound to it, and I think it's, like I said, it's something that's great to hear, because it's a break from the norm, but at the same time, though, it can blend in no matter what. Now, speaking about, you know, you're talking about the band that you have and that plays with you. If you could have the ultimate jam session, who would be at that jam session?
Oh man, probably Christian McBride, because he's amazing. Okay. I think he can play any kind of music. I'd have to say Herbie Hancock, because same, you know what I mean? Pretty much any style, he's gonna bring something completely unique and amazing to it. And Drums is the hard part, man. But I guess on that day it would have to be Chris Davis because, you know, he brings all the hip hop and the future stuff. So that would be pretty amazing. I don't know what we come up with, but definitely some nice beats.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, like I said, I know that you're doing a lot of different shows, and we're going to be talking about your upcoming shows fairly soon. But knowing that you travel around the world, you know, and you've done so many different shows and have seen so many different things. Being out here, for X amount of years, what keeps you humble?
I think just God, man. There's nothing I can take claim for. I think whenever, if I ever go to a space where, I might be getting arrogant or thinking too much, the universe kind of comes back and lets me know, like, what it's all about from my path. Everybody has a different path. And mine is definitely about real music and about inspiring people, and just being true to that. So, the music keeps you true. There's no way to approach this kind of music night after night on stage without being honest and having musicians around you. I'm thankful that I have great musicians around me who keep me focused on the music night after night and inspire me, because every singer, every band leader needs to be inspired too, So for me, it's just the best to be able to, sit on stage and watch my band play. That's what I'm paying them for, you know what I mean? So I can enjoy watching them play.
Right. Okay, right, watching them play. And that's the inspiration. Do you get your inspiration from your fans as well, from the crowd? Like, what do you feel like when you see all those people out there that, that cheering you? What does that feel like when you're on stage and it's like, you know what, this is my stage? What is that like?
It's different from country to country, but I feel like it's a gift and it's a responsibility. I want to make sure that people have a good time, and I also want to make sure people get elevated. You know what I mean? So, it's my crowd is great, man. It's beautiful. Like, if you ever come to my shows, you see people of all types, all ages, literally all ages. People bring their kids, people come with their grandparents, people come on dates, people come on honeymoons, people come on birthdays, and, all types, man, Asian, Black, white, Latino. And that's how I like it, because that reflects my life. So I feel blessed. I've never been to another artist show that's had the same kind of mix as I. So I like that kind of reflection comes through in my music.
Okay. Now with this, Come to My Door, what was the process of it? How long did it take for you to come up with, the tracks and just the approach? Was it like, I know you said that, you wanted just to make just good music, but was there a message that you really want to put as a collective on the track or the album when you released it? What was what was the angle of that?
Well, the album, I just want to clarify, the album is No Beginning, No End. That's the LP, and then the
right, yeah, remix, you're correct.
It's Come to My Door, yeah. So just with the album, like, I was in a place where I wanted more freedom, as an artist. I'm primarily known as a jazz artist, and I was just seeing a lot of different stuff in my mind and feeling a lot of stuff in my heart that I wanted to try and experiment with. And it's not always easy when you come from one certain genre to try other stuff. People expect a certain style from you. I know there's a lot of my fans that would be happy, or they think they'd be happy with me making the Dreamer album like over and over again. So, really,
because the Dream album is great.
Yeah. It's great. Absolutely. But for me, I'm 35 now. It came out when I was 30. I wrote it when I was 28. Like, a lot of things have happened in 7 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's how it is. it's hard for people to kind of understand that, but especially for me, that's just where I was at any given moment. That's just where the mind of the artist is, and I can't help that any more than you can help what your mind is right now. And 7 years is a long time, man. You don't want to be doing the same thing. So, I met Pino Palladino, and I was living in London, and we started jamming, and he got into my stuff, and we wrote a song called Make It Right on the album, and he's like, yo, I want to do this album with you. I had just met him that day. He's like, I want to be on your album. This is dope. Let's go. Wow. And so, what can I say? I'm like, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? So, right then and there, I had already been headed in that direction, but to have Pino come on and just to be part of the album and to be writing songs just gave me like all the kind of credibility and musicianship that I needed to really step into that in a real way. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of times, jazz artists want to do things outside of jazz, but they don't leave their comfort zone. So you just hear jazz artists playing soul music or hip hop, and it still sounds like jazz. You know what I mean? So, I'm specifically talking about like the feel and like the instrumentation. I didn't want to do like a soulful album with upright bass, for example. So, one thing led to another, man. The next thing I knew, I was in New York with Glasper and Pino, Russell Lovato, and we came up with some great stuff. And for me, music is undeniable. Like, if you come up with some great music that feels good, that's what you got to do. So it became very clear that when we cut like songs like Trouble and It's All Over Your Body, that this was the kind of album that wanted to come out for me. And I'm really proud. I think it's my best work, honestly.
Like I said, I've checked it out, and I feel like the progression that you've shown over the years is phenomenal. You were talking about how certain jazz artists, they get stuck in being in that one-dimensional area because it's what they know. But I want to talk about jazz for a little bit. What do you feel? How do you feel about today's perception from today's generation about jazz? And is it justified that people feel good about it or bad about it? Because I'll just say, for me personally, I know today's generation, I don't think they really understand the importance of jazz as a whole, and I just want to kind of get your thoughts about that.
Well, that's definitely true. They definitely don't understand. I think in general, America right now is not big on history, man. Everybody's kind of wanting to run away from the past in every way, and move towards some kind of idea of perfection. So I don't really fault anybody. I just think that's kind of where we are as a society right now, and it's a larger thing than just music. It's bigger than hip hop. But to talk about jazz, to talk about just jazz, for me, it's important to know, where D'Angelo comes from, and I don't just mean like from the church. I can trace his musical roots all the way back to Nat King Cole and Louis Armstrong. You know what I mean? Ray Charles. That's where he comes from, and for me to know, even just I'm not necessarily overwhelmed by his genius, to know that he comes from a long line of genius artists. He's one of many, and Prince is one of many, and Stevie's one of many, and you know what I mean? It kind of makes you realize that this is your history too, and that you can claim your place in it. And that's how I look at it. I don't call myself 100% jazz person or artist anymore, but it's a big part of what I do, and that training and that knowledge and wisdom I know it's going to take me further than a lot of other artists who don't necessarily know. I kind of look at someone like Quincy Jones, who obviously came from jazz, and
right.
Was able to make some of the best music in the world, and have a year that a career that has longevity. So to me, jazz is about that longevity and tradition and excellence in music, and I think there's never anything wrong with those things. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. And I remember watching an interview with Quincy Jones. He said, all music today is jazz music, whether it's hip hop or whatever. It all came from jazz some way, somehow. So appreciate it and respect it. So I can agree with everything that you're saying. Like I said, because you've been doing this for quite some time now. Obviously, the past 5 years you've been doing this professionally, sure. But was there ever a time where you doubted that you would be received the way that you are? Did you ever doubt your talents at any point in time, or was there a time where you just had that bottom point, and but at the same time it was a turnaround point? What was that turnaround point, or what was that point where you just said, what, I'm not sure about it?
I think that happens every time I put out a new album.
Really? Wow.
Because I definitely know people would like something from me that I don't always give. And like you were just saying, like Dream is a great album. I could be working in that vein forever. And even the people who are into where I'm at now with No Beginning, the next album doesn't sound anything like that. So for me, at the end of the day, I just have to accept that's the kind of artist I am. I'm always going to change, and hopefully, I'll get to a point where people will at least respect that that's the kind of artist I am. If they're not into every single thing that I do, I think that's okay. But I look at myself like a filmmaker or a novelist, man. It's like you're not gonna write the same book over and over, but you do get a little nervous, before it comes out, just because you just don't know. And unlike film and literature, music is everybody thinks they're an expert when it comes to music, man. You know what I mean? So and you feel music in a different way. It is a different art form. You don't have to know anything about music. If, as a kid, you listen to Stevie Wonder and you feel great. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it is different, and I respect that too. But I feel that every time. And to me, just to kind of finalize the answer, I feel like that's an exciting moment now where I feel like, man, I don't know how this is going to be, because then I know that means I'm on to something different, And if it's exciting for me, then it should be exciting for whoever I'm sharing it with. You know what I mean? Because I think people know. I feel like I know when I listen to artists who I respect, and their albums come out, and I don't feel like they felt it. You know what I mean? I think you can feel that.
Okay, yeah, and you're right about that. Yeah, you can feel it because it will show itself. In some way, shape, or form. So, so totally on point with that one. Okay. Now, also, I know that you've been out there touring as of late. I saw you did a show with Shuggie Otis, who is for music lovers, that's like the man, the myth, the legend, because it's like he kind of, it's like he kind of appeared and disappeared in a matter of negative 2 seconds on the music scene. And gave everybody Strawberry Letter 23, which everybody knows that as the Brothers Johnson song, but he's the originator of that. But he has a lot of mystique about him. What is there a mystique about Shuggie Otis, and should we be afraid?
I mean, I didn't meet him. I just got to see him backstage. I didn't have a chance to actually talk to him because he rolled up to the gig super late, to be honest. And I think he is mysterious, man. He came back and everybody was kind of ready to embrace him, and he seemed, I don't want to say indifferent, but I felt like his heart wasn't into it when I saw him, and other people have seen him. And I don't really know. He's more of a mystery maybe than ever. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't really get a feel from where he was he was coming from. And I think his band actually, on the night I saw him, was a little confused too, man. I think he was, you know, it's funny because, again, you know, like artists have these moments and things come out of them that they don't even necessarily know, you know, what's happening. I mean, sometimes, you know, you write a song, you don't even know what it means. You know, like Yesterday, right? Like McCartney was using scrambled eggs as the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we hear it when it's done, and we think, oh man, this is like the most poetic thing. It must have been this whole thing, and it did come from somewhere. And Strawberry Letter and all that stuff came from somewhere deep, but you don't always realize it at the time. And I just think some artists are able to kind of, I don't know, I guess realize the impact that it's had on other people in different ways. Someone like Stevie is great at that. You know, he knows that his music means the world to his fans. And I don't, you know, watching Shuggie, who was great, I don't think he necessarily still even realizes that it means that much to people. You know what I mean? Someone like D'Angelo, I don't feel like he realizes how much his music means to people. Like, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
yeah, no, you're right. And I think it's about the success factor of it and trying to not be commercialized. I think it's just me personally. I think that's his sphere as far as D'Angelo is concerned. But it's something that apparently has affected him. But I'm glad it hasn't affected you, man, because like I said, you've been putting out great music from what I've heard and from what I've seen, man. So big ups to you on that.
Thank you, man.
You know, for sure. So I want to say appreciate you for coming on board. Now listen real quick, because I know you got 18 million flights to catch in about 10 minutes. So I want you to let us know, because I know that you were in Aruba recently, but let us know about your upcoming shows. You have some shows come up in November, okay? So just, you know, real quick, you know, just let the fans know where you're going to be.
Well, November is special, man, because it's kind of, these are my last shows doing no beginning, no end with this fantastic international band in the U.S. So I'm playing in Boston, and I'm playing in Williamsburg Music Hall, which I think is probably my favorite venue in New York right now. And then for the first time, I'm playing in Philly at the World Cafe. So I'm really excited about those dates. And all the dates and everything are on my website, josejamesmusic.com.
All right, and that's where you can reach. And also, now, where are you? Now, let everybody know how to get in contact with you via social network, because, you know, everything is about Instagram and Twitter and everything else. So
it is, man. You know, Jose James fan page on Facebook, and Jose James Music at .com, Twitter, Instagram. Easy to find, man. Posting a lot of photos coming up soon. I'm headed to Europe for 3 weeks, so that should be interesting, man. I'm playing Amsterdam, London, Paris. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. This is like the victory lap of the tour now. So I get to just enjoy it and have a great time and see all my friends there.
There it is. Well, listen, man, we got Jose James here live on the air right now on the Brandon Watlington Show. He's gonna be hitting it up. Hit him up online, because he's doing big things. Once again, my brother, listen, thank you for coming out to the show. Nothing but the best to you, and nothing but peace and blessings to you. Continue doing your thing, man, all right?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Peace and love, y'all.
All right. Take care. Peace.
All right, man.